We're living in a country that's the finest place on earth, but some folks don't appreciate this land that gave them birth. I hear that up in Washington they're having an awful fuss, 'cause communists and spies were making monkeys out of us. The bureaus and departments have been busy night and day. They're figuring out just how we gave our secrets all away. And Congress has appointed a committee, so they said, to find out who's American and who's a low-down red. They call them up to Washington to speak for Uncle Sam. But when they ask them what they are, they shut up like a clam. I wish they'd take and put me on the witness stand today. I'd yell so loud old Stalin could hear me all the way. I'm no communist, I'll tell you that right now. I believe a man should own his own house and car and cow. I like this private ownership, I want to be left alone. Let the government run its business and let me run my own. Our government is bigger than it ever was today. The more they hire to work for it, the more they have to pay. Our public servants should be proud and honest, you would think, instead of taking bribes and dressing up their wives in mink. The taxes keep on going up, of that there is no doubt, but still they just can't take it in as fast as they dish it out. Our national debt is a monster size and growing every day. Our children's children still unborn are gonna have to pay. Our dollar used to be the soundest money on this earth, but now $2 won't even buy a good old dollar's worth. Unless we stop inflation and take care of what we've got, the communists may win the fight and never fire a shot. I'm no communist, I'll tell you that right now. I believe a man should own his own house and car and cow. I like this private ownership, I want to be left alone. Let the government run its business and let me run my own.
That song's so awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to get old.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to Unspecified Podcast and Review.
Good evening.
Welcome
Happy
back.
Monday.
Welcome back. W Dude, what's up? James, checking in from North Florida. What's up, brother? Brofist.
North Texas.
North Texas, my
You've
bad.
got Florida on the mind.
Florida on the mind. It's always in the news. Florida man.
Florida sheriff, Florida man.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we should just get into it.
Okay, we say that, but it's actually relatively calm.
You best be believing in dystopic futures.
Compared to what has been, recent. So I'll say it'll be a nice, relaxing chat this evening.
Yeah, more of a chat.
What's up, MLP? What's up, Anthony? What's up, David?
MLP, Anthony Caluminati. What's up, brother? Oh, man. All right, so this is news out of Panama, and this is just us furthering that, a lot of nations are revolting.
Unrest. A lot of unrest, and really, pretty much Mexico and below.
Social organizations in Panama proposed to the national government a 30% reduction of the basic food basket in the middle of the talks at the single dialogue table. During the negotiations taking place in the Nome in the province of Cocle, the popular organizations proposed a 30% reduction in the cost of the basic food basket and the creation of a price regulation office to oversee this implementation and a law to follow up on a national level. During Friday's meeting, it is expected that the other pending points in education, health, and the fuel will be discussed.
So they want a reduction in food price.
Boom, there it is.
Right. And we're seeing that everywhere. It's a global effort. You know what I mean? Too Loco, what's up, Brofist? And then there's this going on in the news.
Yep.
Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up. Israel and Jordan have been engaging in drought diplomacy over scarce water resources, while Kuwait is converting the world's largest tire dump into a city. The Euphrates has been the cradle of civilization in West Asia. The river has been the lifeline for millions in Iraq and Syria for thousands of years. But now it has sunk to a historic low, sparking the region's worst water crisis in years. Our next report tells you more.
So now that was from last year, but then now look at what's current.
Right.
Again, we're seeing droughts, Tigris River, the Euphrates
To recede
River,
exposes a 3,400-year-old city.
which is just interesting because, you know, biblically speaking, in Revelations it does say, or is it in Revelations?
That's right, it is.
Well, you can
In
read,
Revelations, you're right, that, you know,
under
under the Tigris-Euphrates River is some, you know, bad characters.
the
you know,
four horsemen.
That's right.
Yep. So, just, you know, interesting. It's always very interesting to see biblical prophecy.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
tried to pull
happening.
this up to dig up more on it.
Gog and Magog are drinking water from Euphrates River. Some of you may think this is fake and untrue, but please read your holy scriptures. It clearly stated that at the end of the days, the Euphrates River will dry up. The Bible says it in Revelation chapter 16 verse 12. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the king in the east. The prophet Muhammad also mentions that at the end of the days, the Euphrates River will dry up, revealing unknown treasure that will be the cause of strife and war. For decades, Iraq has been squabbling with both neighbors about getting its fair share of the water. The dispute nearly flared into violence in the early 1970s, after Turkey and Syria diverted the Euphrates into a series of reservoirs and nearly dried out the river downstream in Iraq. Prophecy interpreters see that Iraq is the starting point of the end-time scenarios. 2 days ago, Iraq asked Ankara to increase the flow of water downstream along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, as both countries face droughts and tensions over resource management. Many lakes have been completely dried up. The Euphrates and Tigris have become the river without water. The water has stopped flowing. If you read ancient scripture like Torah and Hebrew Bible, it was written that at the end of the days, Gog and Magog will drink the water of Tigris and Euphrates. Drinking the water here is not literal meaning. It is inferential. Drinking water here probably means building dam to control the water and let others dry up. Look at these family tree. You will see that Gog and Magog are one of Noah's grandson. Then believe it or not, Magog was the predecessors of Turkey, Syria, Russia, Iran, China. All these countries love building dam and weaponizing water, especially China. They have the highest number dam in the world. In fact, the largest dam in the world also located in China. They control 40% of the fresh water in the world. Well, this is just an opinion. Just leave the comment.
So look, also, China's really bad about flooding out agrarian areas
That's
that they
right.
want, you know, control over, that they'll flood
That's
the
right.
areas out.
Which it's interesting you mentioned that, because I don't know if we have the article, but and we don't have to do it right now, but just pin that, you know, for later in the show if we can't find it. No, it's okay. We'll just get to it whenever we get to it. But yeah, that is very interesting.
Yeah,
So
we have a lot of interesting stuff to get into.
what's up, Amber? I don't know. You know,
The controversial plan to unleash the Mississippi River.
right.
A long history of constraining the river through levees has led to massive land loss in its delta. Can people engineer a way out? So, I don't know. This is just a little bit spooky. I grew up in river parishes.
Uh-huh.
And so I grew up right on. I totally took it for granted. Just completely, you know, never really was a big thing for us. We grew up on the Mississippi River.
That was huge for me. Like, thinking about that, I remember learning about the Mississippi River in school, and you know, it was basically the Nile of our country, and you know, all basic, you know, the farming life, basic, you know, civilization in the North Americas came because of the Mississippi River, is what we were told. And so that's just so interesting. I remember wishing I could go visit it, and here I am.
Well, and you know, relevance to what they're saying here and what China has been known for doing, flooding areas and whatnot. Right. And then with, you know, our own past with, you know, during Katrina, there was a lot of conspiracy theories about how the levee broke.
Right. Which we don't have to get into.
Which we don't have to totally get into, but I will have you know that the same people that consider it a conspiracy theory cannot deny that the local law enforcement as well as military was going around neighborhoods in the good areas confiscating weapons by force.
Which is a lot of people.
So they
don't
agree
know
that happened, but then they won't, So any hoozle, it's
a
just
lot of
eerie.
People don't even realize that happened. Like even my dad, when Hurricane Ida happened, and I had concerns about that. He was like, "Why would they do that?" And I said, "They did it after Katrina," and he had no clue.
Check this out.
Mississippi River, immediately below its confluence with the Ohio River, would be used to transport water from Hausler's proposal through Missouri and Kansas and into Colorado. Colorado may get 1 million acre-feet of water annually from the 800-mile system of pipes, ditches, and reservoirs for an estimated $23 billion.
The mad plan to divert Mississippi River to save Colorado.
That's right. Wow.
What would that do to our area?
No, I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I would have to
no
see
idea.
a map and see what the plan is to save Colorado. Huh?
That would more than cover the...
My mom told me when I was a kid she foresaw that one day Denver would be a seaport.
Oh, snap. That's right. There are these declassified military maps, naval maps of the Navy's future map of America. Real quick, just because it's fresh on the brain.
How would that work, though? Okay, if you think about the DUMBs, those underground bases.
Yeah.
How would that work if the western hemisphere side of the country was flooded? Like, would that water come up the tunnels?
Check this out.
Wow.
I don't know what this is. It says Atlantis is over here. It says Lemuria is over here.
Whoa.
Here's a future map of the USA.
A little AOT.
So look at this. Is this the mad plan they're talking about with...
Right. That is definitely what I thought.
The controversial plan to unleash the Mississippi River. Well, what do you mean by that? This?
But also, before you click off of that, go back. Well, okay, that's fine. But to me, this map would indicate both the big one in California has happened, as well as perhaps the New Madrid. Because, I mean, just look at
what the? Eli comes up in here. He's like, Mississippi is America's natural Stargate.
What? Explain yourself.
I was born there, so what does that mean?
Glad to be here. What's up, Guava?
What's up, everybody? So, all right.
Anticipated municipal gap
$23 billion project.
Okay.
Over the next 50 years, and is only slightly less than the entire amount consumed by cities. The Arkansas Basin Roundtable, government representatives, and anybody else who will listen had all heard him pitch the proposal. And there is the issue. They simply listen. Perhaps even laugh a little. Hausler, a rancher and mining engineer from Gunnison, stated in a phone conversation on Monday that the project is probably dead right now. "I'm done banging my head against the wall," Hausler said. "I find it foolish, narrow-minded, and undoubtedly local. Nobody is genuinely looking ahead in this state." According to Hausler, the cost of building and running a pipeline down the Mississippi River would be comparable to projects from the Colorado River in terms of cost per acre foot. At the planned location of diversion, the Mississippi River flows through more than 240 million acre-feet annually. At that location, more than 4 million acre-feet of water are flowing every day due to the present flooding. The Mississippi River Pipeline, according to Hausler, is a genuine regional solution that won't cause any farmland to dry up or put further strain on the Colorado River. Hausler stated, "We need to come up with a regional solution to water demands that will benefit the whole West, including numerous plain states, and ignore the artificial state borders created on a map in the 1860s.
Well, I can read that article that they were talking about with the Mississippi. The wording of it, I kind of skipped a little bit. They're talking about Plaquemines Parish. So scroll down a little bit. These days, the river is largely restricted to one channel. Imprisoned within artificial levees, it's no longer able to deposit its mud according to hydrological whim. Instead, the river spits its sediment into the abyss of the deep sea. The consequences are grim. The existing mudscape is sinking. The ocean is rising. Over the past 9 decades, more than 5,000 square kilometers of delta land in Louisiana has disappeared. Okay, bear with me, guys, because it kind of picks up just the wording. Few places are going faster than Plaquemine Parish, which encompasses the muddy, long land along the river's final 100 or so kilometers, where New Orleans exurbs give way to a smattering of rural communities. Just for people who don't know, a parish is the equivalent of a county.
In Louisiana.
Yes. One morning last summer, as we weave in his skiff through the parish's marshland, Richie Blink tells me that the federal government has recently deleted 30-odd names from the local nautical maps. Fleur Pond, Dry Cypress Bayou, Tom Lore Pass, Skipjack Bay, all have become undifferentiated, unlabeled expanses of open ocean. Now the state government wants to open a gap in the levee to divert some of the river's muddy water back into the marshes, allowing the river to resume its old task of construction. Work on the gap could begin in early 2023, assuming that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the federal agency that oversees waterway infrastructure, grants its official approval later this year. The Mid-Barataria sediment diversion, which is named after Barataria Bay, where the released river water will build a new sub-delta, has been under discussion for years. But now, on the eve of destruction, it's come under a firestorm of criticism from shrimpers worried about their livelihood, homeowners concerned about flooding, and environmentalists dismayed at the potential loss of bottlenose dolphins, a federally protected species. Okay, now listen to this. The diversion is intended to build new marshland, but it's sometimes depicted as the latest assault on the region's rural communities, which, according to the critics, are about to be sacrificed again for the sake of nearby New Orleans, urban New Orleans. So anyway, that was just the wording that I saw and was
Boom.
like, what? So we don't have to continue, but just
that's how we're seeing it.
Right.
That's our perspective.
And if you could, if for those of you who have been here, listen, because of the delicate nature of our water and land ratio, we have walls around the city, like true walls.
Kenner, Metairie, New Orleans, literally has
how tall are they? Probably 15.
Dystopic, walls.
Right,
Actually, let me try real quick and just see if we can find.
And so the reason that's interesting to me is that for instance, when they open up the Bonneville spillway, what is that called? What spillway is that?
Bonacary
Spillway. It comes really close to towns, and that water is moving. And so, I don't know, it's just interesting to think about the possibility of, a situation where, a city is surrounded by water. I don't know.
These are the most undocumented seawalls. Called them. Sorry. It's dystopic once you see it. I have video of it that I would have to pull up, but I can't.
That's all right. They're big though. They're really big concrete walls,
right?
And they completely surround the city.
If you could imagine this on a larger scale,
Right. Yep.
Anywho, moving on. Long COVID patients spend their life savings on unproven blood washing. So is that like dialysis?
That's what I think of. British investigation. Jinx reveals thousands traveling across borders and paying huge sums. The COVID-19 pandemic is considered by many experts to be a mass disabling event, though most people fully recover from a battle within the highly infectious... I'm sorry, I just buggered it all up.
Wuhan wiggle. A significant chunk of patients develop lingering, sometimes debilitating symptoms, aka long Wuhan symptoms.
Excuse me, sir, you were jinxed.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Estimates of how many Wuhan wiggle patients endure long-term symptoms can vary considerably, but the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recently estimated that nearly 1 in 5 Wuhan wiggle patients report persistent symptoms, with hundreds of millions of Wuhan wiggle cases reported around the globe. Even the more modest estimates would still suggest that tens of millions have lasting effects. Okay, so we get that, but what are they doing about it? Costly cleanse. Okay, the investigation carried out by the British outlet ITV News and the BMJ revealed that thousands of long Wuhan wiggle patients are traveling to private clinics in various countries, including Switzerland, Germany, and Cyprus, to receive blood filtering or
apheresis.
Apheresis.
Which is not proven to treat long Wuhan wiggle. Apheresis is established medical therapy.
That's like old school blooding. That's how George Washington was killed. Not necessarily that these folks are doing the same thing, but what I mean is, that they believed back then that, if you had an infection or a problem, that you were to bleed it out.
Right.
And that would cleanse you. You would, and he just didn't make as much blood as they took out,
Wow.
But this is more like dialysis, I think.
So
established
Jaeger...
apheresis is an established medical therapy, but it's used to treat specific conditions by filtering out known problematic components of blood, such as filtering out LDL, low density lipoprotein, in people with intraceable high cholesterol.
Intractable.
There you go. You read.
Sorry. Intractable high cholesterol, or removing malignant white blood cells in people with leukemia. In the case of long Wuhan patients, it seems apheresis treatments are used to remove a variety of things that may or may not be problematic. That includes LDL and inflammatory molecules, a strategy initially designed to treat people with cardiovascular disease.
How do you get the Wuhan wiggle out of the machine?
Well, you got to filter it.
You got to bleach it.
It's a big, long filter. Internal medicine Dr. B. Jaeger, who runs the Lipid Center North Rhine in Germany and has started treating long Wuhan patients, touts the method, which involves filtering blood through a heparin filter. She also prescribed long Wuhan patients a cocktail of anticoagulant drugs. Jaeger hypothesizes that the blood of people with long Wuhan is too viscous and contains small blood clots. She suggests that thinning the blood with drugs and apheresis can improve microcirculation and overall health. But there's no evidence that this hypothesis is correct or that the treatment is effective. When Jaeger tried to publish her hypothesis in a German medical journal, it was rejected. So anyway,
Hoozle. Some folks are they're blood washing. It's a new thing. It's a new trend for those suffering the long wiggle symptoms.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
If that fourth isn't doing it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You can go get it washed out like a car wash. Anywho, we'll move on.
It's funny. When I used to work at a dialysis unit, I heard a story about people that would, because you're not supposed to drink at all while you're on dialysis.
Yeah, we'll try to tell that to folks that live in New Orleans.
Right, and really, it's not even about the dialysis. You're not supposed to drink because your kidneys are shot, and so you need to. Your kidneys are involved, though your liver takes the brunt. Your kidneys are also involved in the process of filtering out the blood alcohol content. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Point being, I heard stories about people that would just drink their heart out and get super, super drunk and then go to dialysis. And so they never got a hangover and their blood would get filtered out before it did any further damage. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. And the patient said that the patient didn't, live as long as what you would expect somebody, on dialysis, you have an estimated time.
Man, that is some freaky city folk concepts right there.
Yeah.
I don't never think about washing blood.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And so like dialysis is it's a blessing, like, but like 20 years is kind of, I'm not saying it's the absolute max, but that's like kind of topping out. Like usually people like on dialysis 20 years, because it's 3 times a week for like, typically it's 3 times a week, 4 hours
Same vein
unit. You have a fistula placed. So you have to have surgery to combine 2 veins that make one super vein, also known as a fistula.
Oh my gosh.
And it can bubble, and you get stuck there, and then you get like a buttonhole where basically you plug in every time, and they filter your blood, and it takes 4 hours. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
There's your lesson for the day, eh?
No kidding. What is up, Celtic Mutt? What's up, William? What's up?
You know, speaking of walls, we have more articles on walls.
She actually said this.
To put it in law, there may be litigation, but we will be in a much better position than to not do that. And, you know, listen, women are getting pregnant every day in America. And this is a real issue, and we need to act with a sense of haste about what is at play, what is at stake. And, you know, listen, women are getting pregnant every day in America. And this is a real issue.
Yes, Satan? Oh, I'm sorry. You sounded like someone else.
Women are getting pregnant every day in America.
Oi.
Right.
Oi. You know, she didn't mean it. Just kidding.
So.
Just kidding.
Sorry, I gotta switch gears here.
Have we gone through all of that already?
No, we have not.
Okay.
We haven't.
I'm like, gosh, time flies.
I saw this. I just thought I would show you. I don't know what this means to you. This person says, here's your climate, you know what? Your global, opposite of cold. What do you think? What's going on here? Firefighters, hit me up. What kind of wildland firefighting is this?
Well,
it's probably, I don't know. I'm just putting it on your radar, What's the comment say?
What is happening there?
I don't know what's happening here.
I would just like a situation explanation of a wee bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation, right? It's probably, it's just not coming to me right now, but I'm sure it's there.
I got no idea. Anyway, have you seen this? Invisible force field appears to protect Lady Gaga from object thrown at her during concert.
Okay, I'm going to keep my opinions to myself until after we see the clip, and I can't wait to discuss.
Lady Gaga fans say the pop singer has superpowers after viral clip appeared to show an invisible force field. Do you see the force field?
No.
Did you catch it?
Do you see... Okay, I have 2 theories. First of all, her finger is doing this, okay? So I think she's, and don't forget the fact that this lady has done these spirit cookings and stuff like that.
That's true. She has been to spirit cookings with Abramovic.
Would you put it past her to be a witch of some sort?
She did play a witch in American Ghost Stories.
Horror story.
Horror stories.
That's right. Anyway, but I'm just saying, that's what it looked like. Her finger looked like it called it over. But second most, it did look a little fakey. Little fakey. Her grain, like, she's way more grainy than that book. And who throws books? Okay, that looks real, and then that doesn't look real. Why you got such good details now?
Or is it all a bunch of hogwash? Fans are getting more and more daring to do anything to Lady Gaga. Finally, the concert committee put a shield on the concert. A shield? Especially to avoid fans who are desperate to go on stage and throw things, and what often happens is fans throw bras. Everything they are willing to do to get the attention of the idol, the mother monster, even outside what they consider her, the idol, the mother monster?
Yeah.
Even outside the concert.
Okay, but when you promote, you know what I mean? Like when you're singing to monsters and you promote like abnormal behavior, then you can't be super shocked when you receive abnormal behavior in your fans. The word fan is short for fanatic,
which is short for fanatical,
right.
Which is a type of behavior that's like...
Right. Look at these dancers behind her. I'm not even addressing the gender thing, but look at the blood on their necks, and their body, so it's just...
Yep. It's no good. Definitely demonic. I mean, I agree with Eli. Dark magic deception.
I don't see a shield, so I don't buy that. I think that it's either fake or, I don't, her finger is definitely, doing this.
Or she's just dancing.
No. Yeah, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, no, that looks really fake.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Normalizing cannibalism and eating bugs while food prices increase. So I wanted to play this and get this guy's perspective. We talked about this article 2 or 3 times.
That's right.
The New York Times just published this story. Cannibalism has a time and a place. Some recent books, films, and shows suggest that the time is now. Can you stomach it? A taste for cannibalism? It's like, yeah, we just brainwashed you with our television shows and movies into thinking cannibalism's normal. Now we're gonna act like it's normal. Meanwhile, a year ago, the World Economic Forum put out this article, Why We Need to Give Insects the Role They Deserve in Our Food Systems. The mainstream media normalizing cannibalism and eating bugs, while they're gutting farmers around the world, escalating prices, and pushing climate policies that are going to wreak havoc on the meat market. I wonder what's going on. What do you think? The New York Times just published this story. Cannibalism has a time and a place. Some recent books, films, and shows suggest that the time is now. Can you stomach it? A taste for cannibalism? It's like...
Sorry. Okay. I wanted to look up this verse. Okay. Deuteronomy. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh.
Yep. That's right. And that's relevant both to this and to Lady Gaga.
I'm just saying we need to be, using the Bible, especially in these times.
Right.
Okay? Because stuff is getting dark quick. Y'all going to see, especially as things get harder, things aren't going to get,
No.
In the areas for people who want good and are doing good, it's going to get brighter for them.
Right.
Because they're going to be able to...
Yeah, right.
Right.
The veil is lifting, which means that there is a great awakening happening, but there's also people that, have kind of toyed around with things that maybe they ought not have, and now all of a sudden they're seeing things.
That's right, because you're opening doors when you're playing with that stuff.
That's right. And
divinity, being a median.
Yep.
And I wish I would have had those verses pulled up, too, where it says to not mess with that.
So back to the Lady Gaga thing just for a second. Rainbows Are Made by God says her name is Lady Gaga. Gaga was a goddess in the times of the lowercase gods. I feel like they're back. Hey,
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
And a lot of celebrities in these opening ceremonies and whatnot, they play the character of, symbolically these different figures of old. Look at how she acts with people trying to pot to get on stage.
Right.
Sorry. See folks getting on stage. I'm just saying, if you heard the depictions of hell, you know what I mean? Like, these folks losing it and going nuts. I know it's just a concert, but,
Right. She has to be very strategic about how she handles things, and she knows it, because not all of her, you know what I mean? Like, I would imagine that you could hand out mental illness badges at those things, you know. I don't mean that meanly, but I'm just saying, look at, you know, what she promotes, and that's what you're gonna attract. And when you're calling your fans monsters, you know.
No, I thought, oh, okay, wow, so she's the mother okay.
She's the mother monster, yep.
Whoa. Didn't she buy the lady, what's that witch's name? It was a very famous, she even became Marie Laveau. So, like, she did, this Lady Gaga played the character of some powerful witch in New Orleans. Okay, and then didn't she buy the home of Mary Laveau in New Orleans?
Okay, so I don't. She may. I know.
And you know that she was discovered in New Orleans at a burlesque show.
No, I did not know that.
So a lot of her story.
I might be getting, because you know Nicolas Cage bought Madame Lalaure's mansion, and that was also in American Horror Story, where you know she had killed all of her slaves. Anyway, the point being,
no joke, man. Britney Spears passed on the Madonna Diana Ishtar title to Gaga. Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
And just like with like Michael Jackson and whatever he was, whatever.
Yep.
I forget exactly what he was symbolizing, but then that got passed on to, like, if you look, go listen to The Weeknd. Yeah, that dude has a very pop, like, but his is dark.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Who Let the Bulls Out says superimposed fan video. You know, I really agree with that, but I do also believe that, like, I believe she's done the deeds that if she had some weird thing, I wouldn't be super surprised.
I mean, the last show we were just showing pictures of her at a spirit cooking.
Right. And actually, I don't even believe...
There's this either real person or or fake cake person laying in blood. You know what I mean? And they're all eating off of it.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? I mean, you're not going to want to go. I mean, they show it too in the movies, kind of a little bit into the real life, like, you know, that movie. It's like a joke. It's Seth Rogen and what's his name? They did that movie that's called The End Time, or This Is the End. And you know, they showed a lot of truth in that. I mean, it wasn't all. I mean, you can't go banking on all that, but I mean, they showed a lot in that. They show a lot in these movies, y'all. That's why we be referencing movies all the time.
That's right.
It's a predictive program. All right. Chess robot grabs and breaks finger of 7-year-old opponent. No joke. Okay, not kidding. A chess-playing robot grabbed the kid.
Oh, poor baby.
During a match at the Moscow Open. So this is in Moscow, bro.
That kid was probably like,
they're like banging on this remote over here trying to figure out how to...
Yeah, so what do you do in a situation like robot has your finger and isn't letting go? So
oh my gosh, man. So it's either... Thank you. True Celtic Mutt. Deuteronomy 18:12 says that consulting mediums or channeling the dead it's not good. Don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then there's the folks that can't stand, you know, that's the truth agenda behind the liberal, is that, you know, because I'm in the middle. I'm libertarian, you know, because I believe in private ownership, you know, blah, blah, blah. We can get into political beliefs and all that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm a Christian. But these liberals, you can see over on their end with men dressing up as like crazy characters, cross-dressing with kids. You can see right behind that veil, those with eyes to see what's going on with that. But my point is that it's they want freedom not just from man's law, but from God's law.
Right.
You know, to do us what thou wilt. That will be the whole of the law, and that's like some Aleister Crowley high satanic Bible type stuff. You know, that's their whole gig.
Rainbows Are Made by God says, and the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, I think, bought the house Aleister Crowley allegedly summoned the devil in. Wow.
I don't want to say speak of the devil, but I just mentioned that, and I didn't read that.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't mention the house. I'm talking about the guy. We were just brought him up. And then the mixing of the, you know, that's what Charlie Manson was all about, man. You know, he was writing songs. That was his whole business in Hollywood. That's what he was doing. And people, even after he went to prison, were still consulting him about songs. Okay? He's a part of Helter Skelter and a part of his, like, crazy cult where, like, they believe that making the world a worser place to make it deserve punishment faster,
Right.
so like all hell break loose.
Yeah.
Like that's why they were into such the destructive, because there's two sides to the enemy. They're either going to try to seduce you in,
Right.
make
And
you
if that
want
doesn't
to
work,
come, or
then-
entice you in some way, or make it convenient.
Then fear will do just fine.
Right, and if they can't get you to choose on your own, then they'll get you to choose on your own by scaring you into it.
That's right.
Like with the crate, so there's like the Angel of Light, where they come with the $20 million black credit card that never gets declined,
Right.
and if that doesn't work, then they'll demonically torment you.
Yeah.
With all this craziness. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. I'm just
Speaking
thinking about
of
it.
all these characters, Elaine Maxwell transferred
Hold on, wait. Dang it.
to low security prison in Florida.
I heard how to say her name the right way.
Ghislaine.
It's not, it's...
Ghislaine.
Fine.
The chat will help.
Fine.
They help me enunciate.
Spell it out for us, guys.
Elaine Maxwell now back
Elaine.
back in Florida, the place where many of her crimes with Jeffrey Epstein were committed, but this time she's not in a waterfront mansion. Maxwell was just sentenced to 20 years behind bars for her part in grooming young girls to sexually service Jeffrey Epstein and his friends over a 10-year period. Many of those victims sexually abused at Epstein's Palm Beach home, and some then flown on his private jet to other states. Now, Maxwell is living in FCI Tallahassee, described by the Bureau of Prisons as a low-security federal correctional institution. There, 60-year-old Maxwell will be expected to wake up at 6 a.m.
Okay, first of all, I see two X's there. Second of all, Stevie DiStefani says, not the lead singer, the lead guitarist of Led Zeppelin. Thank you for that correction. Third of all, low-security prison, back to Ghislaine, low security prison to me says soft target.
Appreciate that, JG. Thanks, Robin.
I don't think you heard me. Low sec means soft target.
That's exactly what I mean. You know what I mean? If there was any place you could get the cameras turned off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True. And I've always heard that people in prison don't take kindly to people that hurt kids.
That is also true. It's
Now,
not going to be difficult to pay someone.
Perhaps times have changed.
No, times have not changed. Not in there. Okay, no.
Anyway.
Welcome to the jungle. You know what I mean?
Oh, gosh. Oh, I feel bad. No, I
don't feel bad. She worked with a maniac.
I know, but I don't want to be the person that laughs at other people's misfortune, but I've done it a time or two before. I'm going to get better about it.
About laughing at other people's misfortune?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm bad about it.
I don't laugh
Make her
at
bed.
It's just my coping mechanism, evidently.
I've noticed the topography here. There's this hill. I don't know why that
sure
matters
is.
to me.
That's 11.
Anywho.
Dress in khaki pants and shirt and maintain a regular job assignment. This was not the prison her attorneys requested. They asked she be placed at the prison in Danbury, Connecticut. And she has filed notice as she intends to appeal her conviction and sentence. An interesting note, the outgoing director of the Bureau of Prisons was subpoenaed to testify this week before a Senate panel and could face questions about Jeffrey Epstein's suicide in jail.
Oh, no. No. Wow, it's been like a solid year since I have seen somebody say, you know who didn't you know what themselves.
Yeah.
Remember when that was all
Elaine did not kill herself.
You know, what's the point of even filtering myself if you're just going to say it?
I think that it's fine now.
Oh, okay.
There's only, there's this thing involving a coat hanger that that's the best way I can say it. That's the only thing you can't really, you can't say the A word.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. True Celtic Mutt says, I can tell you as a former bounty hunter,
diddlers
used to beg me not to take them to jail out of fear.
That's when you get one of those sticks. I'm just playing. You ever seen Pulp Fiction?
Let's watch Pulp Fiction later. I'll watch it.
Shocking video captured over the weekend in a Manhattan subway shows youths brazenly brawling with NYPD officers. The male youth was recently arrested for illegal possession of a loaded gun and robbery. but was quickly released without bail. Recidivism. They get into it, these two. I mean, ding, ding, ding. The bell is on. Yep, they team up. And it goes down. Boom. His whole head went into the gate. Now he's bleeding. Yeah. Yeah. And there's this other cop. He's just barely
he's
helping.
Just like, son, I'm going to have to ask you to stop.
Is there some, like, code of fighting ethics that where this other cop is like, well, it wouldn't be fair to go 2-on-1, I guess. We ought to let the boy fight it out. You know, he's got a chance to fight. I mean, clearly he's doing it. This other dude is not helping. I mean, he's just barely...
Well, the guy, whoever's that was in the first video told me that, dang it, I needed to read that. We have to watch this whole thing again before I can get to the part where they...
No, ma'am. Okay. That's why Twitter is...
Oh, you're the best. The female cop that was in the first video told me that both the guy and the girl were arguing with each other about something. Then they tried to hop the train. The cop then said they weren't allowed to come in the train. From there, it escalated. When I got there, why does it matter? The African-American cop had the boy on the floor, knee on his back, and his face was bleeding. ODDDE. I don't know what that means. We all tried talking to the cop, telling him to take his knee off. Obviously, we know what happened with George Floyd. Then, like, 15 officers pulled up and didn't... That's where it ends.
Sorry about that.
Nope.
I was going to try and pull up that other incident that me and you saw of those officers.
V, what's up, Unspecified V? How you doing?
Unspecified V.
How's your Monday going?
Well, apparently, I'm not going to be able to find that right now. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, I agree. Rainbows are made by God. Trump and then let's see here. Goodness, oh goodness. Too loco, hilarious. Alright. What? Let's see.
Lower these fucking gas prices. Lower these fucking gas prices.
Yeah, I don't know what that... So, we were just talking about this. Epstein Island loyalty a loyalty reward program. Look at the smile giving him this Medal of Honor.
Oh boy.
And you get these for going above and beyond reproach.
Okay.
I wonder what they did to go above and beyond.
How was your trip, V?
Does anybody want to help us with that? Does anybody know? Okay. You're brainwashed. Really? Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how it feels sometimes. You try to have conversations, and it's just one thing after another. And I realize that both sides feel that way.
No, so, yeah, they'll say you. That's exactly right.
So it does feel a little defeating to try to have the conversations, but you can. You just both got to put it away and start off the conversation trying to avoid all the topics.
Robert Subi, what's up, brother? Riot Buddies for life.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Mm-hmm. Is it safe to say that based off of you suggesting that these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Be offended. I don't know if you guys heard this dude. Do they have a clip of him? Man.
Let me speak to you directly, Hunter. I asked the FBI where your laptop was, and it seems they've misplaced it. How weird. But it just turns out that I have a copy right here. I entered it in the congressional record. We have your texts, we have your emails, we have the payments from Burisma, we have your travel records, we even know the Chinese communists who own you. You and the big guy have never lived one day under real Republican oversight. So these...
Whew, that went from a ripple to a roar pretty quick there.
These aren't going to be the days of Lindsey Graham breathlessly promising us every night that he's about to bring Hunter Biden in any moment. I got Jim Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert with me now, and I have a lot of backup coming in 2024.
All right, so watch out. That guy's on the move.
Yeah, he is.
He'll be running for president before too much longer.
Watermelon socialism. Green on the outside, red on the inside.
Oh, I see.
Now you see.
I see.
Okay, very simple concept.
I
Very
do, I
simple.
do.
Watch out for these green folks, y'all. We were
Right.
always warned about the little green men.
Messages are ungilded.
10-4.
I don't know what that means.
3 days after I explained to Buttigieg that if everyone drove electric cars, Americans would use 4 times as much electricity charging cars as they do for air conditioning. CNN runs a piece saying Americans don't need air conditioning. They want you to accept a lower quality of life. That's the whole thing. You'll own nothing and be happy. That's what they want.
That's right.
Okay?
And you'll be warm too, but that's okay.
If they can get you caught up and beat down in the rat race, you know what I mean? You
Right.
can reach out to God through his son for freedom.
That's
From
right.
that.
Amen.
He will provide.
Amen.
He will provide. It's not up to you. Let the Father fight for you.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
That doesn't mean you have to have a slack hand, but it means it doesn't matter what your hand is. It doesn't all have to be on you. He can open doors. He can close doors. If you're not doing it with him,
And
you
a
should,
door he
because you're missing out.
opens, No man can close.
That's right. The myth of global warming.
Okay, that's long, but that's out there. Just if you're interested.
Starting from doing such a restrictive effort to try to control carbon emission, because the outcome is that you will neither get the weather and climate to change in any reasonable or meaningful way, in which, in a sense that you can say that you can moderate some sort of hurricane landing on New Orleans, or a drought in the southwest of the United States, or even in the southeast of the United States. And you will not get none of this sort of that expectable outcome that one would imagine from doing carbon dioxide restriction emission. And then finally...
So wait, what's going on? No, I mean, there's a drought in the West. Right. Hurricanes hit New Orleans.
And they've already got articles coming out like, watch out, guys, the loops are coming
from the Sahara. If you don't know, right. Our storms in the Gulf come from
and we're just getting into, so like basically once August hits, that's when we need to really be looking out. We really should be looking out more.
So this guy is a scientist, and he's just saying that using carbon as a credit is a bad idea.
Convincing, refuting evidence. So this is why I call for basically all the leaders that goes to the Copenhagen from December 7 to 18 to have that strong courage to really stand against climate alarmism, and then to stand for basically access to energy use that would be able to help us better take care of our own environment and so forth. And indeed, that we should really, really have the courage to try to reject any Copenhagen deal at all, especially with regards to treating carbon as a tradable commodity, and because it will be totally disastrous in terms of both the cost and actually the actual outcome itself, because you will gain nothing from doing such a restrictive effort to try to control carbon emission, because the outcome is that you will neither get the weather and climate to change in any reasonable or meaningful way, in which, in a sense that you can say that you can moderate some sort of hurricane landing on New Orleans, or a drought in the southwest of the United States, or even in the southeast of the United States. And you will not get none of this sort of that expectable outcome that one would imagine from the
Yep. He looks nervous too. Poor
Right.
thing. I'm gonna pray for him.
Saudi Arabian crown prince maps out Neom project to house 9 million people.
Y'all, this is so creepy. Okay, imagine. Oh. Watch this video and then imagine how small your world would feel if you lived within these two walls.
Well, I mean, really, this is just an actual modern. I mean, this is the.
Fruition.
Yeah, I mean, this is your.
Dystopic future
yeah,
come to fruition.
Pack them and stack them.
Yep.
I mean, you want 9 million people to live in one building. That's
Yep.
what this is.
And then
We talked about it the other night.
And it's 100 miles long, and imagine.
Too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a
34 square kilometers.
So it's like
healthier,
100
more
miles.
sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end to end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions. By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable. The line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities.
Exactly, Robert. It's like peach trees. It's like a
Yeah.
What did they call that? A mega building?
Yeah.
It's like a mega city.
It feels like Zootopia. Like, okay, there's going to be a different section for every person. Here's the cold section. if
You'll
you like
own
it
nothing and be
cold.
happy. You got to go sleep in your little pod bedroom.
I can just see kids saying, like, teenagers 20 years from now being like, yeah, no, I've never been outside the wall.
Equitable views.
I say 20 years. I don't know how long it would take to, but can you imagine kids saying, like, imagine life never going outside of
I've
those
never
walls?
left the wall.
Yeah, like, how dystopic does that feel? I've
Don't
never
send
been
me
on-
to the wall. No one
like,
ever
this
leaves.
feels like the Lorax, they're all trapped in there, and he just wants to see a real tree. He's never seen a real tree. You gotta go outside the wall, and there's no trees. Can you imagine if you did
know
get
exa-
outside of the wall, and then this is what you see, like barren wasteland?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So imagine now everybody lives in the wall, and they start telling people that everything outside the wall is dead.
The corner says mega block. That's it. It's like a big skyscraper mega structure. That's what they're called, mega structures.
Right.
They're
But
huge. This is
imagine-
it. It's happening. This is a
imagine
mega structure.
You get your wall built, right? And everybody gets moved in, right? All Noah's Arky. And then you tell everybody inside the wall that, like, everything outside of the wall is dead or toxic or poisonous.
That's right.
And then, boom, you have control. And the whole rest of the world is what? The, like, playground for people who don't...
The inside just, I mean, if you've ever seen Cyberpunk or any kind of Blade Runner movie, you know what I mean? It just seems so everything on top of each other, like pack them and stack them. Agenda 2030, you'll own nothing and be happy.
Yeah, for real.
If they say you got to get something put in your arm, what you going to do about it? You don't own no private property. You can't go nowhere.
Providing equitable views and immediate access to the
Or Elysium. This is their,
Access to nature.
surrounding nature. With 40% of the world accessible within 6 hours, at the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on Earth seen before. The Line, the city that delivers
new wonders for the new world. Honestly, Tiff said that it seems like it's for the survivors, and that really seems like it fits.
Yeah.
Okay, new wonders for the new world. Why? Because y'all about to destroy this one, and what we're gonna have to live in there to have anything, You know, I don't know.
How they got this?
Did you catch that little line that was above the building? Oh, yeah, okay, so it was from those lines.
Right. A place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on earth seen before. The Line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
Catch that logo.
Right.
Neom. Guys, so think about the song.
That's an alphabet for those who don't see it.
Well, it's a pentagram for those who can't see it. I'm sure Neom is going to mean something fun if we look it up. And then also, but hold on, if you think about the sounds of silence song, okay, where it's like all the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. Well, this is just one letter off. I mean, it just seems like you just so happen to name your New World Order megastructure city Neom.
Right. I believe,
but
Neom
and
is
it also
in the
says
Bible
that their justice system will be autonomous. It'll be an autonomous justice system.
Okay, now I have to look it up and see if it's in. Give me just a second.
What are you looking up?
I thought Neom was in the Bible. Am I wrong?
I don't know. Brooklyn, what's up? Unspecified, the team like up. Yes, please smash the like button, guys, if you can while you're here.
If y'all stay on, maybe we could do a room raid before we get off. Anyway, okay, go ahead. I'll just be over here looking.
In a world where most countries use democratic practices to carry out economic decisions that will benefit the country, some countries...
Eli, he says new ohm. Ohm in electronics means resistance.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's weird. New ohm, new resistance, new... I don't know.
Such as the United Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, are still ruled by monarchs keen to preserve the cultural aspects of their land without the need for modernization. But here is a groundbreaking futuristic project which is soon to surface in the land of gold. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be introducing Neom, Saudi Arabia's $500 billion mega future city. Let's get right to it. With the death of the previous king, King Abdul, Prince Mohammed bin Salman was appointed as the heir to the throne. This was the biggest changing point in the history of the country, as now a young and dynamic prince who is full of fresh and modern ideas has stepped in to pick up the reins. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is known for his spending habits. He has gained a reputation of being quite the spender, and why wouldn't he? After all, he is command over the supposed $1.4 trillion empire. He has splurged millions on just collectibles and assets. Some of these are a $500 million yacht, a $300 million French chateau, and a $450 million Da Vinci painting. It's obvious that the prince is capable of this and much more. It comes as no surprise that the prince is willing to shell out $500 million on the much talked about project named Neom. Neom translates to New Future, an acronym for New Enterprise Operating Model. It is supposed to be a 16-borough city, and guess what? It is apparently 33 times bigger than New York. Located on the exotic coasts of the Red Sea in the northwestern Saudi province of Tabuk, this futuristic city is presumed to be a cross between the Jurassic world and a world of fantasy filled with flying cars. Neom was first introduced during the Vision 2020 conference, and its sole purpose is to change the image of Saudi Arabia from being an oil hub to being a technologically advanced one. Well, the most important part of a project of such dimension is its location. Tabuk is popular for its rich antiquities and historical archaeological sites, and was chosen to house this enormous project due to the mild climatic conditions. Now, we are well aware of what transpires in the desert with temperatures reaching as high as 45 degrees Celsius. Tabuk, on the other hand, was a relatively manageable climate. The specialty of Neom is the fact that it houses multiple cities within a city. Let's take a look at some of the most exclusive ones. 1. The Line. The line is called so because it runs 110 miles long and is wide enough for people to walk within 5 minutes. This patch is said to be a zero-carbon city. The prince proudly claims that this civilized city can...
If you don't know what pentagram we're referring to, It would be this one.
And can I mention that, like, look at the logos. Okay, you've got technology, nature, bio. So there's human, there's solar power, and then what is that? What would that be?
I don't know. It looks like earthquakes to me. Shockwaves.
It looks like Zen gardens to me.
Sure.
I don't know, though.
They say it means new future. I don't know. I like what Eli said. New Ohm or like new man.
Right.
Hold 1 million people and will strive to always put humans first. The blueprint of the line shows a distinctive link between the Red Sea and the mountain ranges of the upper valleys of northwest Saudi Arabia. Built in 3 layers, the first layer, visible above the ground, is accessible to pedestrians. The bottom layer is the service layer, or the foundation, and the bottommost layer is meant for transportation. Intelligent technologies which run on 100% clean energy are going to play a considerable part in healthcare and home delivery services. It is safe to assume that robots are going to be a big part of the workforce within. Amenities such as schools, hospitals, and gardens will be strategically thought through to provide for the million residents. The city aims to take the place of a top tourist destination, and what's more, the region will be a free trade zone with respect to its tax structure and autonomous legal system. Number 2,
autonomous legal system. Autonomous.
This is Elysium version 1.
Or Westworld. I don't know.
Industries. Since the project is built among the coast of the Red Sea, it plans to make its own water. Several desalination plants are set to be set up around the city, and sufficient water storage units have also been planned. Number 3, Neom Agricultural Bay. The city will be capable of self-sustaining with respect to food as well. From organic
Mojave, Tower of Babel placed on its side.
Oh, boom. Wow.
Farming to greenhouses, aquaculture facilities, and self-labeled food parks, the agricultural bay will cover 16,000 acres and would heavily rely on genetically engineered crops. Number 4, Neom Airport. Spread across 20 square miles, a domestic as well as international airport has been planned to make the mega city more accessible for all the incoming tourists. It is soon going.
At least in Westworld, I could be a cowboy.
To draw. Now, as the project nears completion with each day, the excitement to pay a visit to this masterpiece.
Ooh, who let the bulls out? Sharia autonomous, no doubt.
This is interesting. So I don't know if you remember, but a few years back, I had a dream, and I woke it because it was very vivid. But in my dream, like everything was on fire, like kind of like the end of Knowing. Everything was on fire, and we were somehow kind of like catching the last flight out, and we were heading over to the Africa area, like on the eastern side of Africa. And so, and anyway, that's the only thing I remember about the dream is that was the safe place because everything over here was on fire.
Is almost palpable. The Neom Bay stellar 5-star hotels and numerous luxurious apartments have already been completed, and the city is set to open its gates in 2025. For a country that relies heavily on its oil reserves, it is commendable that this massive infrastructure is headed towards a non-oil-based future. So, how many of you are excited about this future?
I feel like they've always tried to subliminally, in cartoons and movies, especially around Disney or around old school cartoons, they tried to assimilate like Saudi sheiks and stuff with like unprecedented, untouchable wealth.
Yeah.
Like unendable wealth.
Right. You can't comprehend the wealth they have. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
No, wait, not moving on. That's huge deals. It's going to open in
City.
2025.
Will the Neom be?
That's freaky, okay? First of all, that seems like a safe haven for those 500 million people they want to survive so bad, eh? Second of all, well, I guess that's all I got. But, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do more updates on it as we see. Eric Schmidt thinks AI is as powerful as nukes. Please. An AI deterrence regime would necessitate an AI Hiroshima. Excuse me? Say what?
Say what?
So I like to think of this as sort of where things were 20 years ago in tech. where we were incredibly naive. I was very naive about the impact of what we were doing. I now understand that information is everything. It's incredibly powerful. So I think the first comment I would make is I think that the government and other institutions should put more pressure on tech to get these things consistent with our values and so forth. And I suspect we all agree. We can debate how to do it, but it requires a conversation. It requires engagement. I think that's, and as opposed to, say, yelling at each other. Because the leverage that tech has is very, very real. If you then think about how will we negotiate, let's say, an AI agreement? Well, first, you have to have the technologists who understand what's going to happen, and then you have to have an awareness on the other side. So let's do a thought experiment. Let's say that we decide to have a chat with China on some kind of treaty around AI surprises. Very reasonable. How would we do it? Who in the US government would work with us? And it's even worse on the Chinese side. Who do we call? I've tried to find that person and I can't find them. We're not ready for the negotiations that we need. And I'll give you some examples. In the 50s and 60s, we eventually worked out a world where there was a no surprise rule about nuclear tests, and then eventually they were banned. When somebody launches a missile, they, for testing or whatever, they notify everyone. And everyone then uses their missile defense systems to watch, to target, to train the systems. It's an example of a balance of trust or lack of trust. It's a no surprises rule. I'm very, very concerned that the US view of China as corrupt or communist or whatever, and the Chinese view of America as failing, which has been well documented, will allow people to say, oh my God, they're up to something, and then begin some kind of conundrum, begin some kind of thing where because you're arming or you're getting ready, you then trigger the other side. We don't have anyone working on that, and yet AI is that powerful.
Wow. Wow.
Smith imagined a near future where China and the U.S. needed to cement a treaty around AI. In the 50s and 60s, we eventually worked out a world where there was a no surprise rule about nuclear tests, and eventually they were banned.
Right. Well, interesting.
So.
No surprise rule on AI. We don't want you to send over your super realistic Battlestar Galactica AI bots until you tell us that you have them.
Right.
Because it's not fair.
Flew to Saudi Arabia.
Ouch.
That was so loud.
RIP headphone users and me.
Sorry. That was my fault.
To bring down gas prices. And he ended up bringing back COVID. And you know, one of the consequences of COVID is it impairs your ability to smell. So, you know, hair sniffing in the White House has gone way down.
Boom. Roasted.
Okay,
Boom.
but let's calm down, okay? I need you to try to be a good leader for my country. I don't need you to try to make me laugh.
Yeah, he was on a real hard kind of...
Like, that felt like a comedy skit.
Yes,
like,
it did. 100%.
What? Come on.
100%.
I don't need my president to
but
be
don't
a comedian.
Don't get it twisted. I confused Ted Cruz for Ron DeSantis so many times that, you know...
No, I know. I don't care who he is. I'm just saying that, you know, like... can we make the president and the cabinet and the whole administration a respectable position again? Can we make it to where we're not laughing at our own leaders so that maybe other countries won't laugh at us too? And
no shot.
But now it's like, no, please laugh at me, which I understand because society as a whole right now, laughing is a coping mechanism, just like me. But we need to stop it. We don't have to laugh at everything. I need to stop. I don't need to laugh so much. Not everything is funny. It's not funny anymore. And I'm not joking right now either.
When you're told not to say anything, but you say it all.
You want to see Joe Biden run for a second term?
Yeah,
That's an easy question. It's not going to take long. Do you want to see Joe Biden?
I don't want to answer that question because we have not. That's not. Yeah, I don't want to answer that question.
Okay.
I mean, he's the president and he has the right to run for a second term. Absolutely. That's.
But
I don't want to. I don't want. I'd rather you not do that answer.
You got like 2 minutes to get started.
Yeah, I know. I got to get to the.
Well, thanks very much.
The other thing.
I got.
Need the P5.
When Democrats are asked if they want Joe to run again.
The document that I think you need to say.
What is FIF?
The Fifth Amendment.
Oh.
Who's coming with me? Most Democrats don't want Biden in 2024.
Who's coming with?
He's the president and he has the right.
I don't. I gotta get to the thing. I don't want to answer that. I only got 5 minutes to get to my car. I gotta go.
When there's layers of incompetence.
Crap! I'm laughing again.
For American families looking for a little more breathing room, these savings matter. At current prices, the average driver will spend $35 less per month for one person, or $70 less per month for a family with 2 cars, than they would if gas prices stayed at their peak.
Thank goodness they did that math for me.
So I'm supposed to say thanks for the 60 cents of savings when you've raised the gas price $3.
If it was still only 2 something a gallon, I could save. One piece of
it's misspelled on the freaking White House. Oh. You can't even spell. Oh man.
Gosh.
Oh no, they can't spell, man. The White House can't spell. So I guess I don't have to feel bad.
That's right. No, babe, this is how the rage showed itself. Do you remember?
I do. I wish I had that clip pulled up.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about it until I just saw that eyeball.
Viral terror.
In 28 days, what were we just talking about? 28-day cycles yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh
sure
my
were.
Gosh.
Viral terror, deadly eye-bleeding virus, which kills up to 1/3 of all patients, reaches Spain after man hospitalized.
Oof. Oh my gosh, that's unsettling.
Tattooed black alien man now wants one of his legs amputated. Government forcing man to pay $30,000 in fines for tall grass, or they will steal his house. What do you think about that?
That's rude.
Monkeypox sufferers warns infection is worse than COVID as emergency declared. Peace, y'all.
I know something about him.
Yeah, you can see the twinkle in his eye. There's a twinkle there. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I'm supposed to not be laughing anymore.
I know how you get this.
Okay, moving on. The nose. Oh, it's just. Ouch.
Sleep threat. Urgent warning as sleep habit is early sign of stealth killer heart condition. So I better be on the lookout.
Sleep habit. What's the sleep habit?
Oh, well, you gotta just Google these words here and then you'll find an article.
Sleeping on your side. Snoring.
Well,
perhaps?
I think it's a bad sleep habit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When chess robots go bad, AI player grabs a 7-year-old boy and breaks his finger during tournament in Russia, in Moscow.
Meanwhile, when this kid is like over the traumatization, he can be like, yo, I play chess so good. Computer lost his crap. He broke my finger. I was so worried. Like...
I turned computer into bad loser.
That's right.
Telling y'all, this is going around a lot. this cannibalism and bugs and alternate food sources and whatnot, and then putting adulteration in the food to burn us so that we stop eating meat and stop doing stuff. You know what I mean? We got to watch out. Pay attention to your packaging.
They would probably do it all propaganda-y, They'd be like, I don't know, never mind. I'll just shut up.
Why?
Know when to quit, Tiff.
Know when to quit. You must be kidding me. French court orders 4G turn off after 40 cow deaths.
4G? That's like
not even as bad as 5.
Right, I'm like, that's a whole G ago.
So, a French farmer has won a court battle to turn off a 4G mast he blames for killing his cows.
Good for you, French farmer.
That's right. French fry farmer.
Okay.
French farmer. French fry farmer. I appreciate this.
I do, actually.
And it goes to show you guys that, we know what we're talking about, and they're lying.
Right.
Groomer. Woke Reddit bans the word groomer as hate speech. It's just not. You can't just choose to get rid of a word, guys.
I know, but
No. We done let go of. I'm not.
You're gonna see pet groomers that are gonna change their name and then get in the news. We're gonna have articles about pet groomers that are no longer called pet groomers. They're gonna be called like pet stylists in order to be supportive of LGBTQIA+.
Yeah, instead of taking them to the groomers, you will have gotten them styled.
That's right.
Oh boy, wait, we're gonna be living in a different reality.
Yeah, with the wall.
Now Twitter censors groomer term after left-wing pressure campaign. Pressure. Under pressure. Dun, dun, dun. Beating down on me.
Okay.
Groomers, look at them.
Yeah.
Uncle Klaus's bugs. Yeah. That's where we're at, guys.
All I can do is shake my head.
Let's see. Well, does this settle it?
And, Mr. President, we're getting GDP numbers on Thursday. How worried should Americans be that we could be in a recession?
We're not going to be in a recession, in my view.
There's a discussion over the weekend, Janet Yellen sort of saying, well, if you have 2 quarters of contracting GDP growth, not necessarily a recession. I covered the economy for many years. I was told by everybody I spoke to that 2 negative quarters, 2 contracting quarters, means that the economy is in a recession. Do you believe that? Is that what you ascribe to?
That is not the actual definition of a recession. It is a significant contractionary period over a few months.
GDP will be closely watched. A common definition of recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, or at least that's something that's been true in past recessions. When we've seen that, there has usually been a recession. And many economists expect second quarter GDP to be negative. First quarter GDP was negative.
We're not going to be in a recession, in my view.
Is she saying naked of?
No, negative.
Negative. Okay, sorry.
A mysterious red glow over the Atlantic Ocean leaves a pilot baffled.
I'm baffled. What is this red glow?
Can you read?
Yeah. We all see mesmerizing views when flying, but some are more exceptional than others. A pilot flying over the Atlantic noticed one of these, according to a post shared on Reddit. The caption says, mysterious red glowing seen over the Atlantic. Pilot says he's never seen anything like it via July 2022. That's huge. Like, what is that? A frightening red glow, and it's different in each picture, kind of, sort of. The images show an almost frightening red glow that cannot be explained. This did not stop people from commenting on the thread with their own thoughts on what the phenomenon may be. I'm sorry, just because you say something can't be explained, is that supposed to stop people from commenting? Anyway, maybe fishing vessels have never clustered.
Photographed a...
So sorry.
That's fine. Maybe fishing vessels have never clustered so close together before.
So sorry.
No, that's fine. Let's listen to her.
The pilot says he has never seen anything like it. The images generated a frenzy of comments and theories ranging from end times to aliens, suggesting that it was most likely a fishing boat that used large panels of red LED lights to attract schools of sorry fish. However, without closer examination, the cause cannot be known for sure. So far, the pilot has remained anonymous, and there is no indication of how low he was flying, or where over the Atlantic he saw the mysterious scene. Sorry fishing uses hundreds of huge LED lights on the perimeters of fishing vessels to attract fish, allowing them to be easily collected in nets. It is most often seen in the Pacific Ocean, but Atlantic sorry is found from the Gulf of St. Lawrence, Canada, to Bermuda.
Weird. Of course, I watch channels that see crazy stuff in the skies all the time.
That's right. But that's in the water. So that's, just interesting.
So this is just a super weird article, okay?
Okay, yes.
She seemed like an elderly Sacramento landlady.
Dorothea
Puente was actually a serial killer.
Sacramento police, I want to read it. We're no stranger to the tidy Victorian at 1426 F Street as they went up the steps of the blue-green home on November 11th, 1988. A miniature windmill turned lazily in the neat flower-filled front yard and birds chirped from the decorative wishing well. The officers knocked and a slight, white-haired woman in Coke bottle glasses opened the door, the landlady, Dorothea Puente. Police asked if she had seen 51-year-old Alvaro Montoya recently. Montoya was developmentally disabled, and his social worker was worried after losing contact with him for weeks. His last known location was as a tenant in Puente's home. She said she didn't know anything about Montoya's whereabouts, but gave permission for the officers to search the property. It wasn't long before they had noticed a patch of disturbed soil in the yard. An officer asked Puente if they could excavate her garden. "Dig in my yard," she shrugged. "I don't know what's out there." They dug, and within minutes they were met by a stomach-churning find, the decomposing body of a woman. In the flurry of calling detectives and forensic teams, Puente, dressed in long red coat and carrying a bright pink umbrella, slipped out. A few hours later, Sacramento Police Lieutenant Joe Inlow spoke with the media gathered at the growing crime scene on F Street as body after body came out of the ground. Inlow admitted they had no idea where Puente was. "She went for a walk," he said, "and never came back." Dorothea Helen Gray Puente was born in Redlands, California on June 9, 1929. Childhood was marked by tragedy. Her father died of tuberculosis when she was 8, and her mother died in a motorcycle crash a few days after Christmas the next year. The children were sent to an orphanage. Scroll down.
Well, hold up, because I want to show her talking to the Sacramento police.
Okay.
I don't care that much for yard work.
I don't blame you. Neither do I. Okay. Be right back. Come on, I'm gonna have you sit in the lobby for a while. We gotta make some phone calls. You might as well sit and relax out here. It's a little cool. Right there. If you need any more water, let me. Okay. One thing I need to ask you is, we'd like to dig some more, okay? And that might entail digging up that concrete where those flowers are. Okay, do you have any problem with us digging, or?
No.
None whatsoever? Okay, because you don't have to let us.
Look, I want to get this over with.
Okay. What else? How do you get a hold of your nephew? How can we get a hold of him also?
Ricardo Orderica. He works at the Clarion.
Clarion Hotel?
But he's not there right now.
How about a home phone or anything?
428. Just a minute. (428) 1471.
1471. Okay. His name is Ricardo. Okay. I'll talk with John and likeness into a couple other areas. Okay, but basically that's what we want to do. And if there is, like I said, if there is a point where everything has to be replaced and everything, I think the city will bear that burden of taking care of that. But I'd like to get a hold of Ricardo and advise him also what we'd like to do to the property, and see if that's okay with him.
It's okay because he let me put it up. I paid for all of that.
Okay, all that concrete and shed and...
Because I didn't have enough storage space, you know. And I just can't do the yard work anymore.
Okay. Now, your niece, Brenda, she was living with you this year?
No, a year ago, September.
Okay. Was Jose living there with her also? No. Oh, she just still was hanging around him? Okay. How well do you know Jose?
Not very well.
Okay, because I know, when you mention Jose, and I know who Jose was. I arrested him. Remember when he and Brenda were in a little, we picked them up, Brenda and Jose, down at his place. We brought him in. Did she ever tell you about that?
I haven't talked to her since then.
Since a year and a half ago? Has it been a year and a half?
A year ago, September.
A year, so it's been a year and a month, approximately. Almost 2 months. Okay. Okie dokie.
Will you?
At any point...
Are you going to let me go, or do I have to stay here?
No, more than likely. We'll let you take on back. We'll furnish you some ride. Now...
I'll take a cab. It's bad enough.
We can even give you a free cab back. It doesn't matter to us.
Can John and I go back together?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, we might have to talk with him a little bit more. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, have you ever talked to John about people, maybe like Brenda, accusing you of maybe putting people in the backyard or anything? Did that ever surface?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and just one last thing. Did your niece ever yell at you about putting people in the backyard? Just
real quick,
got to pass over that room.
Before you go, did your niece ever extort you to, make sure you didn't?
When was that?
She told me that if I didn't let her stay there, that she was going to say that.
When was that?
A couple of years ago.
Okay. She said that she was that what? She was going to say that you were burying people in the backyard if you didn't let her stay there. So she was kind of extorting you.
Yes, she was.
And what'd you tell her? Go to hell?
Yes. In fact, I turned her in.
On what?
When she came home, I let her come from prison and stay there for a few days. And she was using drugs. I don't believe in drugs.
Okay.
I don't smoke. This year I was nervous and I was out there picking myself. I take my heart medication, my thyroid, my hormone, that kind of medication. John and anybody that stayed there can tell you that I don't allow drugs.
Drugs make me
so she did threaten you some time back. Hey, I'm going to tell the police, threaten your life, and then tell you better let me stay here. I want to tell the police you're burying people in your backyard. Okay. And you thought hogwash. And then you said no, she wasn't staying there. Okay. Did you ever tell John that?
John knows that she said that to me.
Was he ever present?
In fact, he
Can he cooperate?
A couple times off the bed. Not off the bed, but she's fallen out of bed. And we finally, I asked John to help me because I can't lift anything heavy. And I put a blanket down, and he helped me lay her down on the floor.
Okay.
And then I called, she left my house, she got out on a Saturday, and she was supposed to report Monday. She left Sunday morning to go see whoever, and she didn't come back until Wednesday night, and that's when we were up all night with her.
Do you remember when she was a suspect in that murder over there? And remember that?
No, because
her and Jose were supposedly involved with the killing of somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And we arrested them?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Was it you that called the police and gave anonymous information?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And it turned out that they weren't involved, actually. Because I dealt with that case. See, and that's when I started receiving information.
Okay, but...
That was this year.
No, I didn't, it wasn't this year that I called. It was a year ago.
Okay, it might have been somebody else, because somebody called on him. And of course she said it was Dorothea.
Dorothea? On what murder?
No, she said, no. This was something where when we picked them up for it, she says, hey, I know who called in and blamed this on us. Dorothea did.
Oh.
See? So,
Oh.
But anyway, I wanted to...
But her parole officer did tell her that I called when they picked her up at my house, which I thought was kind of lousy because I gave him my word. Like I told you, I'm trying to get off parole. I'm trying to do what's right. And when I called him, they promised me they wouldn't tell her that I called, because I said, as soon as he says, when she shows up, would you call? And I said, yes, and I did. And when they came, they walked in and arrested her.
Okay.
2 times they arrested her at my house.
At your house. And that was a year and a half ago?
They arrested her on September about the 4th or 3rd, and then they arrested her once before she got out, and she was just out a short time. She started using and burnt my...
Always putting it back on the drugs.
Yeah, it's like, that's exactly what Who Let the Bulls Out said, classic psychology deflection here. Make it about her drugs, not me. And then whenever he started to get on her again, she was like, yeah, you know what? Her parole officer, like, let me remind you that she's been convicted of this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I'm super interested in this just because I'm a loser and I
Absolutely. That's exactly my
why
reason.
Why is this relevant right now?
I don't know why this is up in the news right now.
Oh, okay, we have to keep reading. Hold on. Okay, by 16... Okay, Dorothea was born in Redlands, California on January 9th, 1929. Her childhood was marked by tragedy. Her father died of tuberculosis when she was 8, and her mother died in a motorcycle crash a few days after Christmas the next year. Children were sent to an orphanage. By 16, Puente was doing sex work out of a motel to survive. As World War II came to a close, she started seeing 22-year-old soldier Fred McFowle. That's a bad name. A few months later, they married in Reno. On their marriage certificate, Puente listed herself as 30 years old, Sheriel A. Racile.
Yeah.
Sorry. She could pass for anyone she wanted to be by the way she acted. Racile, that was a name she made up, I think, McFowle said in 88. I don't know where she'd come up with this poop out of clear blue sky. There was very little married bliss for the McFowles. They had 2 children, but one was sent to live with family in Sacramento, and the other one was adopted. In 1948, Puente was arrested in Riverside for passing forged checks. McFowle filed for divorce, and Puente went to jail. The ensuing 2 decades were a cyclone of marriages, arrests, prison sentences, and schemes. She served time for running a brothel in Sacramento and gained reputation with law enforcement for sneakily cashing benefit checks mailed to her tenants. To avoid probation, officers, Puente frequently used fake identities, including telling people she was an Egyptian-Israeli woman named Taya Singola Nayar. Husband number 4, Pedro Angel Montalvo.
As Angel.
Sorry. Knew her as a doctor-actor from a big Mexican family. Their marriage was driven into the ground due to her spending habits. She wanted a new pantyhose every day, Montalvo complained to the Sacramento Bee. She thought she was rich. In 1968, she married Roberto Jose Puente, whose name she would keep longer than the marriage. 16 months after the wedding, the relationship was over. Now in her 40s, Puente transformed her appearance. She'd always been known for her brassy, sexy makeup and a dress, but suddenly began wearing baggy, modest clothes and stopped dyeing her hair. She told new acquaintances she was a devoted Christian and loved serving her community in Sacramento by opening up her lovely home on F Street. She took in homeless individuals and people struggling with alcoholism and mental health issues. She hosted AA meetings, and local social workers knew her as a reliable placement for their clients. In 1982, a tenant named Ruth Monroe died in Puente's house. The coroner ruled Monroe died of an overdose of codeine and acetaminophen. In an interview with investigators, Puente said Monroe was despondent and likely intentionally overdosed. The death was ruled a suicide. Not even a month later, police returned to the boarding house after another tenant, 74-year-old retiree, said Puente had drugged him. While drugged, he claimed she'd stolen from him. Puente, who had been given several years probation in 1978 for cashing dozens of her tenants' benefits checks, was sentenced to 5 years jail time. Bored in prison, Puente found herself a pen pal, 77-year-old Oregon resident Everson Gilmuth. When she was released in 85 after serving 3 years, Gilmuth drove down to California to pick her up. He'd expected they would marry soon after. But in November 85, Gilmuth fell off the map. Puente hired a worker to help her do some small renovations around her house, including constructing a 6-by-3-foot box with a lid. She said it was for some trash she wanted to discard. When the worker returned the next day, she asked him to put the heavy box on the back of his pickup so they could dump it on the side of the road. They drove down Garden Highway into Sutter County, where Puente picked a spot by the Sacramento River to leave the box. 2 months later, on New Year's Day in 86, a fisherman saw what looked like a floating coffin in the water. Wisely, he decided not to open the box and instead called 911. Police discovered a dead man inside. It would be another 3 years before Gilmuth's body was identified. His unsuspecting family was still receiving letters on his behalf written by his new girlfriend, Puente.
And she seems so innocent in this video.
Yeah.
Now, was Jose at your house a lot?
No, he just came and did some work. I only met him through her I let her have him call her. I let him call her collect there one time when he was someplace. And then, I didn't know he was in prison at that time. And he came and did some work for me.
Okay.
Now, they could have killed somebody, you know. Although they were never at the house at the same time together. But Brenda's a real bad heroin addict. In fact, I think they're looking for her now. Because somebody came to the house the other day looking for her. But I wasn't home. Do you speak Spanish?
Some.
All right, because my nephew, he speaks English, but he...
Rather speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, let me go give him a call. You hang tight. Dorothy is...
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Jose?
Yeah. Was the murderer by the name of Ed Williams?
What do you mean the murderer?
You said that they were involved in a murder. Was that Ed Williams?
No. Why, do you know of anything they've been involved in?
Yeah, Jose was working and staying with Ed Williams at 25th and J. He was taking care of him.
Oh, yeah, the old man, Ed Williams. No, Ed Williams was there. He was just, what happened is Ed finally went to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So why did this get brought back up in the news?
Right. So I'm like, I'm waiting. There has to be... L.A.
Putin died in the Chowchilla Women's Prison in March 2011. She was 82. The home at 1426 F Street has become a ghoulish monument to Punete. Upon her death, the home was sold at public auction for $215,000. The couple who bought it have played up its tragic past, sometimes displaying a mannequin of Puente outside and putting up a plaque that reads, "Trespassers will be drugged and buried in the yard." Okay, when that really happened.
Wow.
Patches of artificial lawn cover the yard where once Puente buried her victims. As Puente, she was cremated after death. The location of her ashes is a mystery. She served as a living illustration of the notion that one cannot judge a book by its cover. Former Sacramento County Sheriff John McGinnis said when Puente died, the epitome of evil without a trace of evil appearance.
Wow.
No kidding. No kidding. Innocent looking grandma.
Okay, but still, why
Totally
is
capable of
this
killing you.
relevant in the news right now? Why are they promoting
You know, I think this is just like a slow news day thing.
I'm interested to, like, I like reading stuff like this, but it's also interesting because it's like, well, sometimes they post stuff from like 5 years ago that really just stirs up a bunch of crap. This doesn't really stir anything up, but what are they trying to do? Provoke grandmas to... when grandmas attack.
When grandmas attack. So what I want to know is what you guys think about this map.
My grandma punched somebody once.
You know, with grandmas, there's always more than meets the eye.
That's right.
You know, my grandma used to tote a 38 Special and drive a Harley.
That's right. your grandma was bad to the bone.
My other grandma was a career state trooper or state police, highway patrol.
She was bad butt in her own way.
In a legal way.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
She was. That's right.
Any hoozles.
Cool grandmas.
So who we got in chat? Smash the like, guys, if you haven't already. I hope you guys are having a good Monday.
That's right. Are we done with articles?
I think we're done with articles.
Does anybody want to do a room raid?
Oh, no. We don't have enough folks to do a room raid, do we?
We don't have a room? Okay.
I don't know. It's a sleepy Monday night.
It is a sleepy Monday night, but that's fine. Why do I have so much energy?
That is some demonic stuff, man. Do y'all have Sasquatch in Louisiana? They call it the swamp foot. Swamp foot.
Swamp ape.
They call it old drag foot.
Rougarou.
Like drags its foot. That was the old story. Really? The rougarou. Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were just joking around.
Nope.
That's crazy.
100%.
Huh. Before I moved down here, there was some travel or whatever documentary talking about the swamp ape and like it would be stinky and in the marshes.
That's actually what my dad and my son are into together right now.
Yeah.
Is the Bigfoot.
That's right. On Travel Channel.
On the Travel Channel. They really think they found something with the heat cameras.
All right, Spires. Well, have a good night.
That's right.
Bigfoot here in Arkansas. Yeah.
I believe it.
I believe a lot.
There's something about it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Slash foot. What's that? I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Sasquatch is everywhere.
That's right. So it's July.
Skunk ape. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I've heard of the skunk ape.
August.
I've heard of the skunk ape. So, slow news day. Praying for you guys out there. Be not dismayed. A lot of this stuff, it's going to be okay. The Lord's going to make a way for us. And I really feel like many times the Lord's been laying on my heart that there's a season. Right now we're in a season of gather and prepare. That's right. And there's going to be a season of promise. A lot of us who can see everything for what it is, like a lot of folks who seek the truth will find it. And I notice that those folks tend to shine in negative situations. So like, for instance, look at all the Cajuns. Whenever the hurricanes hit, the waters flood, you know what I mean? Whenever we have the Cajun Navy, everyone immediately just starts to sacrifice, helping each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
Taking supplies and goods and generators and fuel. Though we did experience a lot of, violence or fighting on the roads or at the gas stations, you're going to have your folks who are evacuating and whatnot, and then you have your folks who are charging the storm head on. You know what I mean? And we have a figurative storm coming up, and everybody knows it. It's
and maybe a literal one.
It's about to hit the fan, and it's there's not going to be anybody that doesn't get some on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So do what you can now.
Proverbs 10:5. Hang on, I was looking for this. So sorry. He who gathers in the summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in the harvest is a son who causes shame. So just saying, it's summertime. Gather.
It's gathering time. And it's time to start planning out a fall harvest or a fall crop.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Something small that you can do. A tomato plant, something you like, just to start to practice your green thumb.
Yeah, because it doesn't, for me at least, it doesn't just come naturally, but it makes it all the more rewarding when we're harvesting, and it may not be as much as I hope it will be next year even, but
Watch
I'm excited.
Out for future videos. I've been playing with a small Harbor Freight solar situation.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be showing you guys what I've been playing with in my garage with my dipping my toe in the water of
right.
solar and direct current battery powered energy.
That's right.
And how we're going to expand on that. So watch out. Those are going to come out of nowhere, and people are going to probably not like them or watch them or see them. Who knows? Anyway, love you guys. Please smash the like, share us out with a friend or a family member, somebody like-minded.
I'm so excited. I think I don't know, something either this episode or next episode, something about YouTube, something we get something open back up. So I'm excited. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We love you guys. Pray for us. We're praying for you guys, your health, your projects. We're praying for a way, for your protection. We need to be asking for the full armor of God and to lean on the Father. And be not dismayed. Be encouraged.
That's right.
Be strong and courageous. Have you not been commanded to be strong and courageous? And you have been. And you got this, you know.
Yep,
and I know it's going to probably get a lot harder. And let's just be watching. And I'll see you guys here next time on an Unspecified podcast and review.
That's right.
Love you guys so much. See you on the next one.
Have a good night.
We're living in a country that's the finest place on earth. But some folks don't appreciate this land that gave them birth. I hear that up in Washington they're having an awful fuss, 'cause communists and spies were making monkeys out of us. The bureaus and departments have been busy night and day. They're figuring out just how we gave our secrets all away. And Congress has appointed a committee, so they said, to find out who's American and who's a low-down red. They call them up to Washington to speak for Uncle Sam. But when they ask them what they are, they shut up like a clam. I wish they'd take and put me on the witness stand today. I'd yell so loud old Stalin could hear me all the way. I'm no communist, I'll tell you that right now. I believe a man should own his own house and car and cow. I like this private ownership, I want to be left alone. Let the government run its business and let me run my own. Our government is bigger than it ever was today. The more they hire to work for it, the more they have to pay. Our public servants should be proud and honest, you would think, instead of taking bribes and dressing up their wives in mink. The taxes keep on going up, of that there is no doubt. But still they just can't take it in as fast as they dish it out. Our national debt is a monster size and growing every day. Our children's children still unborn are gonna have to pay. Our dollar used to be the soundest money on this earth, but now $2 won't even buy a good old dollar's worth. Unless we stop inflation and take care of what we've got, the communists may win the fight and never fire a shot. I'm no communist, I'll tell you that right now. I believe a man should own his own house and car and cow. I like this private ownership, I want to be left alone. Let the government run its business and let me run my